Welcome everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Guten Tag. Dobradan. Konnichiwa. Just waiting for a few more people to join. Hello. Hope you're having a lovely day. Today's topic is completing the square. And this question is from paper 2 in 2020. And this is the first of 9 questions. So here is the first question. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. The question says, write down the coordinates of the turning point on the graph of y equals to x plus 12 squared, take away 7. So when we're looking for the turning point, we want to make this, the brackets equal to 0. So x must be minus 12, because minus 12 plus 12 squared gives you 0. So our first coordinate is going to be minus 12. And then the outside of the equation stays the same. So this is minus 7. So if this is 0, what is that part? We're left with minus 7. So that's the answer to our first question. Hope you got that right. Nice and easy start to our pack. Here is our second question. If I can frame it better. The second question is from paper 3, November 2017. And have a go. Press pause when you are ready. You can press play for the answer. Okay, question number 2 of 9 says to us, write x squared plus 6x take away 7 in the form x plus a squared plus b, where a and b are integers. And so this is a routine completing the square question. So these are the steps when we complete the square. So step 1 is we halve the number next to x, so the coefficient of x. So here, the number next to x is 6. So I'm going to half 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So that's the first thing I do. The next thing I put it in brackets, squared. So this becomes x bracket plus 3 all squared. So you can see that. So 3 is used. X plus 3 all squared. Step 3 is I subtract the half number squared. So what I've just got, I subtract that, minus 3 squared. And then I just continue simplifying. So I've got minus 7 there as well. So that's minus 7. Okay, and now I can continue simplifying. So this is x plus 3 squared. Take away 3 squared is 9. Take away 7. And I keep simplifying. X plus 3 all squared. Take away minus 9. Take away 3 is minus 16. You can use a calculator. And so if I look at my format, x plus a squared plus b. And so this is my final answer. All right, and also the method mark that you get is by having this. So just by doing 6 divided by 2 is 3. X plus 3 is your method mark, and your final answer is your accuracy mark. So those are the 2 marks. All right. And here is an analysis of completing the square. How important is this? Well, you can see it appears in November papers quite a lot. It's appeared in paper 1. It has appeared in paper 2, June 2020, and paper 3. So out of the 14 sets I looked at, it appeared 9 times. So it is quite a popular topic, quite a frequent topic rather. Here is the next question. This is question 3 of 9. This is from paper 1, so non-calculator paper, and this is from May 2019. Press pause, and when you are ready, you can press play for the answer. Okay, so this question says, given that x squared take away 6x plus 1 equals x take away a all squared take away b for all values of x. Find the value of a and the value of b. So again, this is another one of a routine question. We just have to complete the square here. And so if I get my steps out again, I half the number next to x, so it's 6 again. So if I do 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So now step 2, I put it in brackets, so x minus 3 all squared. That gives me a method mark, by the way. And so step 3, half subtract that number, so take away 3 squared, and then continue working, simplifying. And so now if I simplify, x take away 3 all squared, take away 3 squared is 9, plus 1, x take away 3 all squared, minus 9 plus 1 is minus 8. And I am told it's in the form x take away a all squared minus b. So my a is 3, and my b is 8, you can see there. And that's my answer. And from here, if I write my x minus 3 squared minus 8, hence write down the coordinates of the turning point on the graph. So the turning point, we want to find the coordinates. So the simplest way, so we want to make the bracket 0. So this must be 3 minus 3 all squared. So that makes the brackets 0. So my x coordinate is 3 and my y coordinate is minus 8. So if I ignore that, I'm left with that. So the key thing, sometimes the shortcut would be opposite signs. So minus 3 becomes plus 3. So that's one thing I'll be doing to go through this a bit faster. Okay, so I hope you got that right. Right, now here is the next question. This is our fourth question of 9. This is from paper 3, November 2023. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. Okay, so this question, similar to last time. Write x squared take away 8x plus 3 in the form x take away a all squared take away b, where a and b are integers. So we are completing the square. So step 1, half the number next to x, or the coefficient of x. So 8 divided by 2 equals to 4. So this now becomes x minus 4 all squared. The number I've just taken out, I subtract that squared, and then I follow through, and then I just simplify. So x minus 4 all squared. 4 squared is 16, so minus 16 plus 3, and this becomes x take away 4 all squared. Minus 16 plus 3 is minus 13. Okay, and so if I check x minus 4, that matches x minus a, and then minus 13 is my minus b. And so it's worth 2 marks. And again, just by having x minus 4 in brackets is a method mark. And now, hence, write the coordinates of the turning point on the graph. So using this, so I've got minus 4, x take away 4, so opposite of that will be plus 4. That stays the same, minus 13. Nice and straightforward question there. And we're not doing part C and the other part. So I hope you got that correct. Now we move on to a little quote I got for you today, which is that it's not about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. So this is a quote from Angela Duckworth. I thought I'd share this because we're revising. Sometimes you don't know what's happening. You might be stressed out. The main thing is keep going. And as long as you're improving every day, that is the main thing. And this is a lesson in life, just trying our best, and we're being better than we were yesterday. All right, so here is our 5th question of 9. This is from November 2019, paper 1. And this is worth 3 marks. Let me get that on the screen. There you are, 3 marks. So press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. Okay, so this question reads as: the equation of the curve is y equals 4x squared, take away 56x. The curve has one turning point. By completing the square, show that the coordinates of the turning point are 7 minus 196. You must show all your working. So for this question, it's slightly different from what we've done before. So I'm just going to rewrite the equation out first. So y equals to 4x squared minus 56x. Okay, the curve has one turning point. By completing the square, show that the coordinates are this. So they are giving me the answer. This has given me the answer. So now what I want to do is I want to complete the square. Now this is different from what we've had before. This has got a 4 in front of the bracket. So I'm thinking, what do? I'm going to factorize the 4. So let's take out the 4. 4 bracket x squared. And then 4x squared, and then I've got to do 56 divided by 4. So take away 56 divided by 4 gives me 14. So minus 14x all squared. Okay, so now this looks more like what I have done before. And so now I can complete the square. So it's a bit like what I did before. So step 1, I'm going to now put square brackets, replace here. So I'm going to put square brackets in front of that. Half the number next to x. So the coefficient of x is 14 divided by 2 equals to 7. So this now becomes x, take away 7 all squared, take away the half number squared, and then there's nothing else there. Put this square brackets back in. And now I'm going to continue. Seven squared is 49. So minus 49. And now what I want to do is I want to expand this part here. I've got 7 here, which matches that. I want to expand the 4 with this. So y equals to 4 brackets x minus 7 all squared, take away 4 times 49 is going to be 196. 196. Okay, and now you can see that the turning point is, what do I do to make this 0? So this must be 7. Minus 7 will give me 0, so this will disappear. And so 7 minus 196 is my turning point. And so I've done that. Okay, so where are the method marks for this question? So this question is a bit tricky. So the first thing is doing this part here, factorizing by 4 is a process mark. So you get that. The second mark, again, by having 7 squared is another process mark. And then your third mark is for the full working out, showing everything there. All right, so those are the 3 marks. So I hope you got that. Well done if you did. Let's go on to the next question. So slightly bigger challenge. And I'm not sure if my labeling is correct. I have to double check this. I think this might be a different paper. It might be paper 3, November 2022. I'll have to double check. I've just looked at my notes and it might be a different paper. Anyway, I will correct that if that is a mistake. Right, here is the next question. This is paper question 6 of 9. This is paper 1, so non-calculator from 2021. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. Okay, the question says, find the coordinates of the turning point on the curve with the equation y equals to 9 plus 18x take away 3x squared. You must show all your working. So find the coordinates of the turning point, and I've got this equation. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this like in my normal form. So this is not in my normal form. So I'm going to put x squared first. So minus 3x squared plus 18x plus 9. Now this is much more comfortable to the eyes. This is how a normal kind of quadratic will look like. So now I'm looking at what is different from this to what I normally do. I normally don't have 3. So I'm going to see if I can factorize the 3. Does 3 go into 18? It does. And does it go into 9? It does. So I'm now going to factorize the 3. So minus 3x squared. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6x. And then 9 divided by 3 is also 3. Okay, so I've done that. Now, if I factorize by 3, I've forgotten my signs, so be careful on your signs. Minus and minus. So let me just rewrite this. It's going to be messy. X squared minus 6x minus 3. Okay, so I've done my kind of factorizing. The next thing I'm going to do is, this now looks like my normal quadratic. So I can just complete the square with this. So following my steps, minus 3, I'm going to put square brackets so I don't confuse it. My step 1 was the coefficient of x, half it. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it's going to be x minus 3 all squared. Take away 3 squared. And then I've got the take away 3 there. Okay, now I can continue simplifying. Minus 3, x minus 3, minus 3 squared is 9, minus 9 take away 3. So now that gives me x minus 3 all squared, minus 9 take away 3 is minus 12. Okay, and now I'm going to do what I did previously, is I'm going to expand this part out. So y equals to minus 3 bracket x minus 3, and then 3 times 12, 24, 36, and then a negative gives me a positive. So I can see my coordinates for the turning point, the sign changes. So I'm going to have 3, and this is going to be 36. So my final answer is 3, 36. So this was a bit more tricky. There's lots of little things going on. So where are the marks for this one? So for the first mark, again, a process mark, factorizing negative 3. And the second mark is, again, step 1 of our completing the square. So getting that 3 there. The third mark is the follow 3, continuing with completing the square. And our last mark is our accuracy mark there. All right, so I hope you got that right. So it's a little bit more tricky, this one. Let's go to the next question. And if this is your first time you're watching the channel, subscribe if you're finding it useful. Here is the next question. This is question 7 of 9, and this is from November 2019, paper 1. All right, and this question is worth a whopping 5 marks. So 5 marks, quite a lot of marks. So press pause, have a go, and when you are ready, you can press play for the answer. Okay, so let's go through the question. Sketch the graph of y equals 2x squared take away 8x take away 5, showing the coordinates of the turning point, and exact coordinates of any intercepts with coordinate axes. Okay, so first thing, so if I think of my graph, quadratic graph, let me just do a sketch. Okay, I'm going to have x equals to 0, x equals to 0. Sorry, x equals to 0 is here, and y equals to 0 is here. So y equals to 0, y equals to 0, 0, x equals to 0. So if x is 0, I'm going to be left with minus 5. 0 minus 5. So this is my y-intercept. My y-intercept is going to be 0 minus 5. So that's my first coordinate that I've got. Now I need to find out what these two are. So that's one thing. And then I need to also find my turning point. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things that I need to work out. So let me go to the turning point next. So I'm going to complete the square. Y equals 2x squared take away 8x take away 5. And so I can see I've got 2 here. So I'm going to factorize the 2. 2 brackets x squared. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4x. 5 divided by 2 is, I'll put 5 over 2 for now. Okay, and 5 over 2 equals 2.5. I prefer a decimal, so I'll use a decimal as I carry on. Now I can complete the square here now, so I'm going to do that. So this is going to be half of 4 is 2, x minus 2 all squared. Take away 2 squared, take away 2.5. Now I'm going to simplify here. X minus 2 all squared, minus 2 is 4. Minus 4 take away 2.5 is minus 6.5. So doing a little bit more with my working out. And now I'm going to expand this part here. So this is going to be y equals 2 bracket x minus 2 all squared. 2 times 6.5. 6 and 6 is 12. Half and half is 1. So 12 plus 1 is 13. So minus 13 there. Okay, so I've got that. Now I can use this to find my turning point. So this, for x to be 0, for the brackets to be 0, x needs to be 2. So 2, and this part stays the same, minus 13. So that's my turning point. So my turning point, so this is that here. So using my sketch, my turning point is going to be 2 minus 13. This is my sketch, by the way. I'm just I've got it there to help me remember what I need to work out. So I've got these 2 parts. Now I need to work out this. So this is saying when y equals to 0. So this needs to equal to 0. So I'm going to say 2 bracket x minus 2 all squared take away 13 equals to 0. So now I can just continue, so that all I have left is I have to work out what x is. So I can take this to the other side, which is going to be plus 13. I used the wrong color here. Anyway, let me just carry on. So plus 13 on both sides. So I've got 2x minus 2 all squared equals to 13. And then I can divide by 2 both sides. So I've got x minus 2 all squared equals to 13 over 2, which is 6.5. I'll do that. Now I need to remove the squared part. So opposite of that is going to be square rooting. So I'm going to be doing, this becomes x minus 2 equals the square root of 6.5. And now I need to get rid of the minus 2. I need to move this up a little bit more so you can see. So I need to add 2 on both sides. So this now becomes x equals to 2 plus or minus square root of 6.5. Okay, or I'm just adding 6.5 plus 2. I've rewritten it as 2 plus minus 6.5. So remember, there's 2 possibilities when you square root it. So now I need to put that on my diagram. Okay, so I need to sketch that into my diagram. So I'm going to have my if I can fit everything on the screen. So I'm going to have a sketch here. So I am going to have from before 2 and 13, minus 13. Now the thing here is how far to the left am I going to go? So I'm going to have 2 plus root 6.5. Is this going to be on the negative or not? So if I think about it, if I have 2 squared equals to 4, 3 squared equals to 9. So it's in between 2 and 3. So is it going to be a negative? I'm not sure, but I can just write it here as 2 take away root 6.5. As it's a sketch, it should be fine. And now I also have my other root here, 0 minus 5. So it's going to be going through all of these points here. So I want to draw a quadratic. That's a smooth quadratic. That's going through all of these points. And so that is the answer to my question. It kind of matches my sketch that I had before. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And if I check my question, sketch the graph showing the coordinates of the turning point. So let me add that in there. My turning point is 2 minus 13, if it isn't clear. Showing the turning points and the exact coordinates of any intercept. So let me put this as 0 minus 5, and this one was 2 minus square root 6.5, comma 0, and the other one is 2 plus root 6.5, comma 0. It's not very clear, is it? 2 plus root 6.5, comma 0. Okay, so it's quite clear there. So quite a lot of marks for that question. So where are the method marks for this one? So there's a method mark for identifying the turning point. So that's the first thing. For this process of solving the quadratic, you get a method mark for starting the process and for this final answer. So that's another 2 marks. The next mark is for putting in your diagram a curve with the y-intercept. So that's another mark. And then a communication mark for highlighting everything. So those are where the 5 marks are. So there's quite a lot going on there in that question. So I hope you got that correct, or if you didn't, you know how to do that. All right, let's go to our 8th question now of 10 of 9. All right, this question is worth 4 marks, and this is taken from paper 1, November 2018. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play for the answer. Okay, let's look at this question. It says, here is a sketch of a curve. So we've got a curve there. The equation of the curve is y equals x squared plus ax plus b, where a and b are integers. The points 0, minus 5, and 5, 0 lie on the curve. Find the coordinates of the turning point. So we need to find the coordinates of the turning point. We need to find out what this is. All right, so let me reread this and see what I can get. So we've got an equation of a curve, so that's fine. The points 0, minus 5 along the corridor down the stairs. So 0 minus 5 is here. So this is 0 minus 5. Okay. So what that means is if I have this equation, y equals x squared plus ax plus b, this is the y-intercept. So minus 5 is b. So that becomes x squared plus ax minus 5. So that's the first thing I've got. The point 0, minus 5 and 5, 0 lie on the curve. So 5, 0 along the corridor, 5, 0. So we've got that there. So now that we have that, I've got a root. So I can factorize this. I can start factorizing this. So when I factorize, I've got this. So that means that for the root to be 5, it must be x minus 5, because 5 take away 5 is 0. So that's that. Now, if I look at it, my last number is 5. 5 times what gives me 5? It must be 1. So I've got x and x for double brackets. When I expand them, x times x is x squared. Now, I've got plus ax. Well, this is minus 5, so this must be positive. Plus 1 times minus 5 is minus 5. This cannot be negative 1. Negative 1 and negative 5 would be plus 5, which would not match that. So that's the key thing here. So now that I've done this, I can just carry on. So I've got this. So now I can expand the brackets. So if I expand these brackets, I've got x squared plus x minus 5x minus 5. Simplify this, x squared minus 4x minus 5. So, oops, you cannot see what I've done there. Okay, so now that I've got this, so this means that my a is 4. Okay, so now this is a quadratic. I can now complete the square on this. So to complete the square, I half it. So 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. So x minus 2 all squared minus the 2 squared, take away 5. And I just carry on going through that. X minus 2 squared is 4. 2 squared is 4, take away 5. So that's x minus 2 all squared minus 4 take away 5 is minus 9. So now that I've got minus 9, that means I'm going to have the opposite there. So it's 2, and that stays the same, minus 9. So that is my coordinate. And so I can put that in here, 2 minus 9, 4 marks. So where are the 4 marks? Let's just go through this. So the 4 marks, the first mark is for identifying minus 5 here. B is minus 5. So this is a process mark. That's our first mark. The second mark is by going through this and working out that when we have factorized them, we have x minus 5 and x plus 1, or getting to x squared minus 4x take away 5. So that's our second process mark. Once we've done that, the third mark is for completing the square, and then our last mark is for our final answer. So those are our 4 marks. Right, how did you do? I hope you did well there. We go to our last question of today's session. This is question 9 of 9. This is from November 2024, paper 3. So we are allowed to use a calculator. All right, press pause. And when you are ready, you can press play for the answer. Okay, so let's look at this question. So we've got, sketch the graph of y equals x squared take away 6px take away 7, where p is greater than 0. That's fine. Showing the coordinates of the turning point in terms of p. So we need it in terms of p, and the coordinates of the intercept. So those are the two things we need to do. Well, we've seen from the last question, so you can see here, this is our y-intercept, 0 minus 7. So that's going to be quite straightforward. So we can have on our graph here, I'm not sure if I got this here, so you've got that there, 0 minus 7. So I can put here minus 7. So that's going to be where my quadratic will kind of go through. Just reading the question, showing the coordinates of the turning point and the coordinates of the intercept. So turning point and the coordinates of the intercept with the y-axis. So I just need to show that. So for this question, I just need to, I've done this part, that's a quadratic, and I just need to show my turning point there. So I've got that. So that's that. So I've done the first part. So now, if I think about it, well, this is in a form of a quadratic. So I can now, I've just got algebra. So I'm halving 6p. So 6p divided by 2 is 3p. So this is going to be y equals bracket x minus 3p all squared. Step 1. Now the second step is to subtract the half part 3p all squared, and then I continue follow through minus 7. So this is now x minus 3p all squared. Take away 3 squared is 9p, take away 7. Okay. And now I've done it. There's nothing more to do. It's just got algebra there, which is a bit more confusing. So how do I make this 0? Well, it's going to be the opposite. So this is going to be 3p. And this part stays the same. So my y coordinate is going to be minus 9p take away 7. Okay, so I've done that. And so now I need to put this on my diagram here. So this is going to be 3p minus 9p take away 7. And that is it. So where are the 5 marks for this question? So the 5 marks from what I can see is the first mark is for putting this in there. So for minus 7 and having a quadratic, that's the first mark. The second mark, again, is when you are halving this, the coefficient of x, so that's the second mark. So just a simple following step 1 of the procedure. The next mark is the following through, just going through completing the square. That's my third mark. The fourth mark is actually finding the turning point, fourth mark. And then the last mark is on our diagram, we are labeling everything. So my y axis and my turning point. So thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's session. See you next time. Bye-bye. Assalamu alaikum. Auf Wiedersehen.